Hey, we're here with a band who's been playing together since they were 15. They've had #1 albums, they've won ARIA awards, they're punk rock royalty and Australian music icons. Welcome, Chris Cheney from The Living End. Thanks for being with us.
You're welcome. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I guess, want to take it all the way back to the start.
Where do we start?
Where do we...
At the beginning?
The beginning. Very good place to start. So, when you started with music, where did music start having strings attached? When did it become a serious relationship for you?
Well, maybe when I'm like 8 years old is when I first remember hearing music that actually made an impact, and that was hearing Air Supply.
Okay.
Which my parents used to blast in the car
Yeah.
when we would drive to Bathurst every Easter. And I think they had 2 tapes. It was Air Supply and the Little River Band. Oh. And so I fell in love with Air Supply as a young kid, like the hooks in those songs to this day.
Yeah.
I love that. That's the first kind of music I remember really going, wow, I really like this. I don't think it was much of an influence on the band.
No,
But it made a big impression. And I think, even as far as like, we've always had a lot of hooks and pop moments in our songs. And I think it does go back to that, not specifically those guys, but those kinds of records that my parents were playing. It was a lot of just classic songwriting and, really great records still to this day. So, that was the first sort of impression, I think. But probably, when I started getting guitar lessons in primary school, I was probably like, I don't know, 11 or something, I think, when I first started playing.
Yep.
And thank God for my mother signing me up for those lessons at lunchtime at school. There was one of the teachers at school was a guitar. He was the music teacher, but then he did guitar lessons as well.
Yep.
And so that was, a little nylon string classical guitar. And I just kind of gravitated towards it, just felt pretty natural. And here we are.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So it wasn't you. It was your mum who signed you up. You weren't necessarily...
Well, I think so. I don't ever remember kind of... I don't really remember sort of signing myself up or taking any interest. It was a bunch of my mates. It was about 5 of us that did these sort of group lessons. Yeah. And it was just kind of fooling around really at that point. It was just the teacher basically telling us to stop doing this and, making the god-awful noise that it would have been. So, there wasn't really any kind of learning going on at that point. It probably wasn't until I got to high school that, I sort of started to actually play something that resembled music, and you get some coordination and some dexterity, and the other guys all kind of dropped away from doing it, but I persevered.
Kept going. And I suppose that would have been when you discovered rockabilly and all that sort of thing?
It was around the same time, yeah. Yeah, I was kind of, I liked the top 40 stuff. I started getting into like Bon Jovi and I always liked AC/DC, but they were kind of in the background a little bit. But then when I discovered the 50s rock and roll thing, again, sort of through my parents' record collection, I guess, I think I must have seen Elvis and Buddy Holly and stuff on TV, and just something clicked. I was just like, I became obsessed. And that was right around the time that I think I started to be able to, play a little bit. So then I was just like, head first into all those records. And my mum had a lot of those albums. She had early Elvis stuff, Buddy Holly, Little Richard, Chuck Berry, all that stuff. So I just went through that record collection and started teaching myself sort of how to play that. Yeah. And not Bon Jovi anymore.
Yeah.
So, and that's around about the time that I kind of met Scott.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah. All right. Well, and then got all the way to the point that you own probably more Gretches than anyone in Australia, right?
Yeah. And I can remember before I had a Gretsch, I had a Samick, which was a 2-tone big jazz box thing. It was about that fat, I reckon. I used to play it out here. Yeah. And that was as close to a Gretsch as I could sort of afford at that point. But for me, the Gretsch thing early on was like, because I got into Eddie Cochran. Then I saw Brian Setzer and I was like, okay, there it is. The whole thing makes sense now. Yeah. It was like rock and roll, punk rock, jazz licks, rockabilly, the tattoos, the hair, the whole bit, the band, the songs. It was just like, incredible moment for me discovering them. So he played a Gretsch, Malcolm Young played a Gretsch, Chet Atkins, Billy Duffy, Eddie Cochran, Cliff Gallup, who played with Gene Vincent. All my heroes played Gretches. So, I mean, what else was it going to be?
Yeah, 100%, absolutely. So what you've got on at the moment, we'll dive into the guitars.
Yep.
This is a Gretsch. Wait, what are we talking here?
This is the Gretsch 61cc, which is my signature model.
Oh,
That's not Sharpie. That's printed.
Yeah, you can't get that off.
I repeat, that's not Sharpie. That's printed. So they made, that was like the biggest thrill of my life. Pretty much. That and having children, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, it kind of is like having, a wooden child in a way, isn't it? You had your own.
Yeah, so this was
model.
like 2008 or 9, I think it was. I've been playing them for a long time, and I'd kind of gotten a relationship with the company, and they said, "Do you want to put one together of all the modifications and stuff you've done on your guitars over the years, put them together on one model?"
Yeah.
And I thought, yeah, that's a great idea, but what I don't want to do is what every other guitar player does and just get a standard Falcon, which is kind of that one.
Yep.
And just modify it. I actually wanted to put something together that hadn't necessarily been done before. So it's a smaller body size than that.
If I just pull this out so we can kind of compare. So it's a smaller than a Falcon.
Yep. And it's the same size as like these, which are the double anniversaries, which was the first sort of Gretches that I played.
Yeah.
So it's a slightly smaller body, just because I liked the shape of these, but I love the Falcon headstock.
Yep. Let's make sure I get that in safe.
Yeah. Instead of the gold binding, I wanted to have silver binding, TV Jones pickups, Spursel locking tuners, all the things that I'd done to my guitars on one guitar. But obviously just a slightly different kind of shape and model that didn't exist before that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And it sounds pretty good.
It does. It sounds so good. And it's actually something I've noticed, I've been wanting to ask, because I've been looking over here at this. You've got this sticker on a couple of guitars here, I feel. I've been trying to work out what it says. It's Virginia is for lovers.
Yeah. You've been to Virginia?
No, I've never been.
Oh, it's for lovers.
It's
you
for
should
lovers.
Go. Yeah.
I'm a lover, so naturally.
Someone sent me these stickers a long time ago. I've been to Virginia. It's quite nice.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But I like the stickers and.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I always kind of liked to put stickers on the guitars and kind of hot rod them and.
Yeah. And all the people in the crowd now who are like watching from a distance will actually know what it says because your arm's always over it, so you'll never get a good look.
That's right.
But yeah. All right. So we've got the signature, Chris.
Yep.
Then your next one here.
Yep.
So what do we got here? Run me through.
That is the Brian Setzer signature model from, I don't know, maybe 2005 or something.
Yep.
Which I think he was the first one that they kind of, when they started remaking Gretches in the early, mid-90s or something, I think he was obviously the first artist they approached to do like a signature model, and then they did some Malcolm Young models.
Yep.
Chet Atkins was the first one to ever get them, and that's a Chet Atkins scratch plate, but on the Brian Setzer model, just because I loved the way that scratch plate looked. But yeah, that's essentially what the Eddie Cochran. To me, that's the quintessential, Gretsch is the orange.
Yes.
Western kind of motifs and all that cool stuff. But to me, they were just, not only did they look great, it was like so versatile and just the ultimate guitar. Before I even had one, I just loved the way that they looked. I'd never played one before, but I just wanted one for the way they looked. Then when I started playing them, I was like, oh, they sound really good too.
They do. And I suppose it would also influence your playing. You've probably learnt to play Gretches, so, when we get onto one of your guitars here, which isn't a Gretsch, we'll talk about that because it's an interesting departure, I imagine. So
yeah, you have to work at these guitars. I've never really known kind of any different.
No.
And part of the appeal of them is you have to work at it. It's like driving an old car.
Yes.
But that's what it is.
And I noticed that none of these, now I was looking at them, they don't appear, are these all not fixed bridges? No, nothing's a fixed bridge.
Yeah, I think this is a pinned bridge, but I think the pins are kind of hidden underneath the little bridge thing there.
Yes.
But not all of them are. That one's a floating
That's a floating bridge?
Yeah. So that one.
So what's this one?
That's like a 66 or something, I think. Double anniversary. The two-tone smoke green, they call it, which I got in New York. in like, I think I was on the, was it New York? I can't remember now. I think maybe,
Yep.
yeah, because I've got another one of these, which I got early on here. And then when I went to New York, I wanted to get an extra one. Just seeing that it's all busted through there. That's not good. I wanted to get an extra one, but yeah, which was on the Roll On tour, I think. And then that became, my main guitar really at that point.
Yeah.
During the first and second records.
Okay.
So yeah, that's kind of, I don't normally play it, but I'm going to bring it out on this tour.
Yes.
But it's pretty kind of, beaten up and...
Absolutely. And you are, because, I mean, you're playing, so what when you were touring the first record, which you're touring the first record for this tour coming up, that was the guitar you're using. So.
Well, it was the one I have at home. That was the second one that I got.
One.
But it's exactly the same. But yeah, it's well and truly loved. But it's a weird thing because these new ones that tend to stay in tune better, they intonate better, and they're just better for kind of getting stuck into. But these are kind of too good to be sitting gathering dust at home too. So
yeah, of course. Absolutely. All right, and then we've got the Falcon. Now, we mentioned this before, but is this something quite, it looks a bit vintagey? Is there a story with this one?
Yeah, that's 99, I think I got that one. So I played the first record entirely on these and that kind of touring cycle. And then I got this at the Guitar Center in LA. I actually went in and I got a green, we're talking about the Brian Setzer models. They made a green one, and I bought it because you walk into Guitar Center over there, it was like a whole wall of Gretches, and I really wanted like another one. And I got this green one, and I got back to the hotel, which was the Hyatt on Sunset Strip there, the Riot House, and I went, what the fuck did I buy this green guitar for? This is awful. So I went back and said, I don't like this guitar. Can I swap it for something else? Yeah, no worries. And that's when I got this guitar, which is, as you'll see on the back, #1, which has become like my main guitar. It's played on every record since and every show. It's like it's the #1 Falcon. So
I feel like this.
But I didn't go in to buy it that time.
No.
But then when I walked back in the center and I saw the white Falcon, I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
That's the guitar right there. So it's not vintage, but
no.
1999 kind of is vintage now.
It is a little bit, yes. And I suppose it's been played. I think that's where I kind of I see you've worn it right in. So, with all the oxidization under the scratch guard there. And is it, actually, I feel like you might even be holding this on an album cover or something, right? I feel like this one?
Well, I would be,
yeah.
I don't know which album cover, but...
Yeah, it escapes me now.
It comes with me everywhere I go.
Absolutely. All right.
It's my safety blanket.
Yes, if all else fails, Mick can give you this and it will...
Oh, absolutely. And it sounds the best out of all my guitars still. It sounds so good that we're thinking about making it sound not as good because you pick up any other guitar and it fails in comparison to this.
Well, before you sabotage your guitar, we should swap over, right? And you should show us how this, if it's...
Well, the thing about guitars and the thing about Gretches is they're always different, and and sometimes you get a good one, and sometimes you don't. This just happens to be a good one. It just has like a sparkle and a life to it that no other guitar that I've ever played really does. So,
it's got claws.
It does.
Yeah, it really does.
So for me, it's always been about having that twang, and having the sort of sparkle. And then, it has to be tough chordally too.
Yeah.
Stringy.
Yes, there's that. Yeah, I hear that. That's an amazing sound, It feels like the sound of my teenage years coming at me right there as well, listening to your albums over the years. Now, you got one more left here, which, this one's tied in. Hold on. So what's this bad boy on the end?
That is another signature model.
Ah, okay.
Hence the scratch plate.
Yep.
With the band logo.
Yep.
And that's just strung the open tuning for White Noise. I just use it for that song, which is like an open G. Signed by the one and only Dwayne Eddy, who I met a few years ago, and who was a bit like Eddie Cochran. You know, he was like the other guy in the 50s who played this kind of model, the orange model. And see, I met him, and I got him to sign the guitar, and
so cool. Yeah, and you got it in a spot where you're not gonna kind of catch it as well. You know, you should stay pretty safe.
I should probably put some spray or something over the top of that, because he passed away like last year or the year before.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. So I got this great photo of me kind of holding his signature model and him holding mine, which is like, you know, that shit doesn't happen. You know, you don't think about that when you're 14, 15 years old. You're listening to these guys that you're going to meet them, and
absolutely.
Pretty cool.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Very cool. All right. Now, right on the end here in your guitars, we have the one that's not a Gretsch. We've got a Telecaster.
It's the runt of the litter.
Runt of the litter.
Or the black sheep.
The black sheep? I think the black sheep actually, well, it's a blackguard, isn't it? So it's the black sheep. Now, you playing a Telecaster, in my mind, it's
wrong?
Yeah, it's like watching your dad kiss your uncle or something. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, it's a strange, it's kind of like, because it's suddenly like, it's smaller, I don't know, solid body guitar. But I can totally understand going for a Tele based on playing Gretches, but tell me about this bad boy.
So that's a Nash. I always loved like those, you know, being a Joe Strummer fan and a Roy Buchanan fan. You know, to get an old 50s Tele would be, you know, out of my price range. I don't know. I just went through a stage where I just wanted a different guitar, and we've always had lots of diversity and stuff on our records, but this I play this at most gigs. There's just a need for it, and a certain few songs, and it's a ripper. I'll plug it in.
Absolutely. Let's have a listen.
Definitely different to the Gretches.
Yeah, it's got a lot of thrust to it. It's got a lot of that cut. I feel like it cuts real hard. That's a classic 52 sound, but that's great.
But yeah, I find that I get on these guitars and I can't play them. You know,
really?
No, because I'm so used to playing these bigger ones that I get on this and I've got giant hands all of a sudden, and they're all fumbly and weird, and I just can't seem to I can't get around it the same way that I can these. Again, it's like driving a big Cadillac or something, you know. And then getting into like a little
hatchback,
little Mazda or something.
Yes.
It's weird. But it sounds beautiful.
It does sound good. I was going to say, actually, it's almost like the Gretsch is kind of built like it's extension of your body now. It's just part of how you are, how you play.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, I suppose from here, let's have a look at where we're going on the signal chain down to your pedals. So you've got a big switcher out the front, I've noticed. So with your pedals, what have we got going on, I suppose? Like, what are you using for drives?
I'm probably going to need my guitar tech to help me out with this, because it's become quite a setup. But essentially, I'm going into a switcher which goes out to 2 main amps, which is my Wizard 100-watt modern classic, and an old 60s Vox. They're the 2 main sounds which I have panned in my ears, and they're the 2 main sounds. So it's kind of, I've always gone with that high gain of the Wizard, the AC/DC kind of thing, and then the Vox or an old Fender or something is kind of the Sun Sessions twang. Again, my 2 main influences, you know, running into both of them that are on all the time. And then and it comes out of that, well, into the pedal board first, I suppose. Is that right, Mick? into the pedal board first, out of that, and then it's just a guitar switcher and one of those Framptone 3-banger things, which you can run 3 amps, but we're obviously running just 2 at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, amazing. Yeah, so you're blending. Yeah, okay. And yeah, I suppose, what pedals have we got going on over here? What's sort of your always-ons? What are your kind of things that come in?
Are we walking over to it?
Yeah, why don't we have a walk over and have a look? So now we're over at the pedals.
Uh-huh.
So, where do we start here?
Well, it's pretty bog standard, really. I mean, got a Klon.
Is that a real Klon?
That's a real Klon.
That's a real Klon.
Everyone says that.
Yeah. Last time I saw one in a shop, it had a $10,000 price tag on it, and I was like...
It's kind of ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've been using them for, I don't know, 10 or 15 years or something.
Ah, you beat the Rush.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of between that and a Tube Screamer.
Yep.
Which has got the Keeley mod on it. They're the main kind of boosters for solos and leads.
Yep.
And then just, Boss Space Echo. I've got I've got a bunch of old tape echoes and stuff at home, but again, I don't bring them out because they're just too hard to maintain, and they're kind of signal suckers.
Yeah.
You know.
Yep.
The other Klon.
Yep. The old KTR. Yep.
Yep. Timmy pedal.
Yep. That's an original Timmy as well. Like that's a.
I think so.
Yeah. Nice.
A little secret, I'm not really a tech head. I don't know what half of this stuff does. I just fucking play it.
And it sounds good.
Yeah.
Now,
we're using that as a boost.
A boost, yep.
Yep, that and the Tim, either or for different songs.
Yep.
Just to kind of just lift choruses up and just go from sort of, dirty to dirtier.
Yep. Are you using the Klons as sort of boosts or drives? I guess, 'cause a lot of people-
drives,
Yep.
yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Not necessarily. I have had times where I've used it as like just to play like chordal sort of stuff, but mainly stringy stuff now.
Yep.
We're always like fiddling with the rig and trying different things out. Like the volume pedal's basically there. I'll use that to play in the verse.
Yeah.
And then kick it off for the chorus, so it just kind of, the whole thing opens up again.
Yeah.
So rather than adding more, I tend to sort of bring it back.
Yeah.
And then open it up again, like sort of choke it and then let it go again.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Standard kind of reverb, chorus.
Yep. Silver String reverb, C2 chorus, and Tube Screamer.
Yeah.
Using that much as a drive, or yeah, absolutely. So you sort of using it for that kind of mid punch, is that?
Yeah. Well, back when I started, I only had that, and I just had a Boss DD3 digital delay, and that was
the whole thing.
That was enough, especially because the background we came from, pedal boards were like,
yeah,
you don't have a pedal board.
Yeah.
This is like rockabilly music. You just got it's in the fingers, and you just get that slap delay, and
yeah,
if you have a pedal board, you're a wanker.
Yeah, he says with the so. But and then I was also the Red Witch here. What have we got down here? This is
It's a phaser, is that right? It's a phase, but I never use it.
No. Okay.
I used it for we had this album called The Ending Is Just the Beginning Repeating, and I used it on the oh, there it is. Yeah, I used it on the title track of that. Yeah, but we don't play that song anymore.
No, but it lives on the board still.
Yeah.
Now, Octavias, the octave.
Well, we should, let me put a different guitar on because I should show you what they sound like. So, I have the 2 octaves here.
Yep.
One that has both of the lower octaves kind of turned up. We have a song called How Do We Know, which was basically, sometimes you buy a guitar pedal or something and it kind of helps you come up with an idea or write a riff, purely because of that sound. So the song How Do We Know, which is... came just from fooling around. It doesn't sound anywhere near as good without it.
Yeah.
Just sounds shit. But it's important for that one to have the if the sub's not in, still doesn't sound right, but when you have that in.
Yeah.
So, and then I've got another song where I didn't want the sub, so that's why there's a second octave.
Ah, okay.
For just a solo part.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah. No, great sound.
And what's that?
That's the second one.
Oh, the second one.
Yeah. But it doesn't track very well sometimes.
Yeah. But that's
Maybe All Torn. Have we got the... So delay-wise... That's about the longest, sort of, most delay that I use. The rest of the time, it's like a slap, kind of, you know, the rockabilly kind of thing. I don't know if we've got that. Or second. Have you got second there? Making him work.
Yeah.
But so yeah, my main kind of the pedals that I always just use, as we were saying when I started off, with just the was the tube screamer and a delay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, that classic. Yeah, that's the Chris Cheney sound I always think of. Is like exactly what you did there, just the twang and the slap, and it's No,
I've got my own sound.
You do? Oh, 100%.
Wow.
100%.
That's cool.
Yeah. So we've done the pedals. Now this all goes off to Voxes and Wizards.
Yep.
So we'll get a bit of a. So tell me about your Wizards.
So the Wizards I got when we toured with AC/DC in 2000.
Sorry, you just dropped a name.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to drop a few more before we're done. Don't worry about that. Rick St. Pierre, who's the maker of Wizards, it's his company. He was Angus's guitar tech on that tour.
Yeah.
But Malcolm was using those. There's another name.
Yep.
Malcolm was using those amps, and yeah, I was using old Marshalls, I think, at that point, and he just would watch us play each day, and I just started talking to him, and he said, man, you got to just try these amps that I make for Malcolm. So he let me try a couple on that tour, and then at the end of the tour, these were Malcolm's spares. I ended up getting 2 of them.
Wow.
So yeah, I bought them, and that was in 2000, so it's a long time ago now, and they're just built like tanks, you know. It just had that thing. It had that kind of clang and that chime, and had the Marshall thing, but also had a high watt kind of Englishy kind of zing to it that just works with these guitars.
Yeah.
And so yeah.
Absolutely. So these are actually Malcolm Young's old Wizards.
Yeah, these were the spares that he had. Yeah, he was using like 400 watt heads or something though, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
he was using supercharged ones, but these were the other 2 that Rick had on the road in case he needed them.
Wow.
But yeah, he was using these sort of, like, it was proper loud.
Yeah.
Proper loud.
Yeah.
I remember the first day we walked into like Rod Laver or something, wherever that, I think that was the first show, and they were sound checking, and it was so loud. The PA wasn't even on at that point. It was like insane.
Just the amps, just the stacks.
Insane. And then it was probably the loudest gig that I've ever been to, but I mean, that was the Back in Black lineup, so it was just magical. They were just smashing it at that point.
Yeah.
And that was the sound.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Cool. Well, I suppose, and lastly, I suppose, Mike. What mics are we on? SM57s, Bulletproof Classic. There we go.
That'll do it.
Absolutely. Well, Chris, look,
I would say like a resilient mic, because it's so loud. Because I have everything like facing backwards and off stage basically to run the in-ears, or else it just messes with the, messes with the sound of it. Just can't hear anything else.
Yeah. Actually, that was another question. What was your first amp?
My first amp was a PV Rage. Oh. Little black one like that.
Yep.
And that and the Samick guitar was what I played for a couple of years, and I got these Fender Bassman when I was about maybe 14 or something, just when Scott and I were starting the band. It was time to get serious.
Yeah.
And I just got that because that's what Brian Setzer used. And,
Yeah.
You know, it was kind of, again, it was the look and it was the sound, just that twang.
Yeah, 100%. It's classic. Absolutely. Now, we have a bit of a tradition here on the show. Now, have you got, for me, just like a hot take on music or musicians or guitar? Is there anything that like just pisses you off about guitarists or any?
Most musicians piss me off.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, maybe the saying "practice makes perfect."
Yeah.
Always hated that saying.
Yeah.
Because it does. And who wants to be perfect?
Yeah.
It's something that I've fought against, I reckon, most of my career, is finding that balance between being accomplished but not letting it get in the way of the attitude.
Yes.
Or the edge. You know, it's really important. There's so many, particularly guitar players, you know, like the guys that can really shred and are just up and down the fretboard like it's an Olympic sport, you know. It's so boring.
Yeah.
It's so boring. So the attitude has to be there. So again, it's a bit like, you know, driving an old car or something. With these guitars, you've got to kind of work at it, and they're a bit clunky, and you get a few extra noises here and there, and they sort of feed back, but that's all part of it.
Yeah.
So I would say,
Yeah.
like,
Don't practice, kids.
Don't practice.
Stop practicing. Don't.
No, I wouldn't say that at all. I mean, I tell my daughter, she's playing piano, you must practice. But,
Yeah. But you wanna
it's definitely important to find that line of not, there's no point being a virtuoso if it's boring. So you got to have that edge there. And,
Yeah, when you stop feeling it. Like, it's like each time you play it, you know. Do you find that with the band, actually? Do you guys sort of, not under-rehearse, but you try not to over-rehearse things, or you let things become a little freer, or?
Well, we do. We got to try and keep ourselves in check sometimes, because we always wanted to be the kind of band that could really play. You know, we were into bands, even bands like Queens of the Stone Age and stuff like that, who you watch and you're like, wow, they're so good.
Yeah.
I mean, that works for them, but we can't be too clinical, or else you lose that kind of edge and the rock and roll side of it. So we've tried to make sure in the past that it doesn't tighten up to the point where it's sort of clinical, you know. It has to have a swagger, it has to be a bit loose in that, you know. So again, it's finding that balance, because we always wanted to be a tight, kick-ass band like AC/DC.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, we love the Clash and the Sex Pistols and that kind of like, that edge and that aggression. And if it's too clean and too well played, you don't have that. So I feel like we've hit that balance perfectly now at this age and with this record, you know.
Yeah.
I feel like early on we weren't very good players, so we had that looseness, you know, we just had it because we couldn't play tight.
Yeah.
Then you get so good that you forget about that side of it, and you know, it becomes a bit sterile. So that's our experience anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I reckon that's a really great note to finish on. Look, Chris, thank you so much for running us through your rig. Look, absolutely. Now, you also have one more thing we've got for you, just so that you can give us a little bit of your signature slide, how you play slide for everyone at home, you know.
Well, what you do is...
The secret to how he plays guitar.
You drink a little bit first. That there is the nectar of the gods.
Yep.
VB. And tuning is optional. I don't want to spill beer all over my pedal board. Doesn't sound very good, does it? But it tastes just fine.
Absolutely.
You need to be in the throes of the gig, you know, with the audience for it to have full effect.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Get some VB spilt on you at the next Living End gig. Thanks for everything, Chris. And catch you guys later.